What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is the second trailer review for Star Trek Beyond. I didn't do a review for the first one because it came out before I started doing all of this. So here's my thoughts on the second one. Quickly on the first one, I had mixed feelings about it. I didn't want it to be just another, oh, exciting action all the time and stuff like that. And that seems like what they were going for with the first one. Uh, that's just how it was put out there. That's how it was pitched in the first trailer. And I even heard something about how, sometimes the marketing can be a little bit off. Like they can market something, make it look like one thing when it's actually another. In fact, there's a YouTube channel that actually does stuff like that. They make trailers look like something else entirely. So yeah, I think it was a very poor marketing decision for the first one to make it look like this big, huge action, just rampage. The second one brought it a bit more down to earth. I know, ironic, right? Down to earth, and they're out there in the stars. But it was a lot more dramatic. It opened up with, Kirk. It sounds like he's sort of reflecting on who he is. And, there's a lot of people talking to him saying, you wanted to find out if you could make your father proud, you need to find out who you are, not whether or not you're your father. So it sounds like maybe there's going to be a bit more character development with Kirk in this movie. But it is a lot more dramatic. The music fits a lot better, I think, than Sabotage. And, I do like a lot of the visuals. I mean, it looks, once again, very visually appealing. Star Trek Into Darkness had a lot of very amazing visual effects. So I'm excited to see a lot of the visual stuff in this one. Whenever all those little tiny ships are just crashing into the Enterprise and just busting it up, that scene's going to be pretty amazing to watch on the big screen. And it's a bit of a different type of movie, I think. Even with this different marketing, you can tell it's not going to be the same old, okay, so here's the crew, we're all working together on the Enterprise to stop some other bad guy. It sounds, the Enterprise looks like it's going to get destroyed, they're going to end up separated on this planet, all having to do things alone and differently. So, it sounds like it's... the best way I can think to describe it is if you're watching a TV show, there are a couple episodes where the team's been working together throughout the season, and then something happens and it splits up the team, and now they have to solve their own problems individually instead of working together. And some of them have to realize that they are able to do stuff on their own. They feel like they're not good enough to do stuff alone. Like they need the team to help them, and then this helps them realize, oh, I can do it on my own. I don't think that's what's going to happen here, but I kind of am curious to see how they're going to take this. How are they going to use this to their advantage? The fact that the team gets separated, that they're all having to work independently now. It sets up for a lot of really good moments, a lot of really good character reflection, and now I'm going to have to go back and watch the first two movies to kind of get reacquainted with these characters, because it's been a while since the last one. But they do have a very good premise. A couple problems I have, though. One, once again, they're putting Jerry Lynn, director of Fast and the Furious, like it's a good thing. That's like telling me that they're making a new Lord of the Rings movie, and the director is like the guy who made Mad Max. No. That doesn't really work. Because they're two completely different genres. You've got adventure and then you've got action. You need, if whoever turns all of the Nicholas Sparks movies into, or Nicholas Sparks books into movies, if you have him directing the next Mission Impossible, no, let's not do that. They're putting it out there like it's supposed to be this amazing thing, like, guys, it's the director of Fast and the Furious, you know how awesome and action-packed those movies are? We're gonna get that for Star Trek, and it doesn't really fit because that's cars on Earth going really fast with a lot of action. This is, we're in outer space, and it's supposed to be more than just action. I mean, That's one of the issues people had with the first trailer, is that it didn't feel like Star Trek. Star Trek was supposed to be a bit more reflective. A lot of people compare Star Wars and Star Trek, and several people say you can't do it because it's two completely different things. And I agree. So to see the fact that they're trying to make it seem like, oh, this is going to be awesome and epic and action-packed, I don't really want that. I just want to see a bit more of the Star Trek universe. I want to see where they are taking this new universe, reforming it a bit, maybe from the first, from the original Star Trek. See where they're going to go from there. I don't want to see, oh, we're just going to throw a bunch of action at you and, yeah, have fun. There are other movies for that. If you want to have a lot of fun, go watch Fast and the Furious. Go watch a lot of those crazy action-packed movies. But Star Trek, I don't want to see just another action-packed movie. It doesn't really fit for me. Whenever I think Star Trek, I don't think I'm just going to go sit there and have a lot of fun. I want to actually think a little bit. I want to enjoy seeing, oh, there's more to this world. Let's visit this other world. What's the goal of the USS Enterprise? To explore, to go where nobody else has gone, to boldly go. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that. But aside from that, there's just a couple moments. There's some that are good. Watching some of the fight scenes, watching them take on all of these little ships in the Enterprise, watching them work as a crew inside of the Enterprise feels a bit more like Star Trek, which is what I think this trailer did very well. And then, they kind of left the humor out of it. I do believe there is going to be some really good humor in it, as always, because they have a good cast for that. We've seen that in the first two movies. They have a good cast that sets up a lot of good humor, a lot of quick one-liners. But this one, they've narrowed it down to just that one joke at the very end where she sits in the seat and everybody just kind of looks at her like, what? And then you got Scotty? Yeah, he's off to the side. He's like, he really likes that seat. That was the only joke. You chuckle at it the first time and then not as funny after that, but I don't think this was a trailer for a lot of humor. The one other issue I have, though, is still the motorcycles. I hope they have a good explanation for it in the movie, like maybe that's what this world is limited to as far as technology. Like for some reason, motorcycles ended up in outer space, and then they landed on this planet, and now they use that technology to create these, and that's all they have. That would be interesting. But to see, Chris Pine riding a motorcycle, I'm just like, maybe it'll work in context, but for a trailer, it just kind of takes me out of the Star Trek feel just a little bit. And then, of course, I think the biggest thing, though, to talk about is just how excited I am to see this bad guy. You got Idris Elba playing him, who I really enjoy whenever he's in a movie. He always plays a good character. Obviously, Heimdall from Thor is the most famous one that I can think of. But he seems a lot more like, whenever you think about really good bad guys, for some reason the ones that always seem to stick out are the ones that just think humanity is so weak. Because generally that tends to lead to a storyline of humanity is not weak. We stand together and we take them down. And those movies are always, the villain in those movies always seem to stand out a little bit more, because it's like, you think about Loki in the Avengers. He looked at humanity like, you are weak. In that one scene where he's standing above the crowd and then that one guy stands up, it was a very good scene, and that's part of the reason why, because he said humanity is weak, and humanity said, no, screw you, we are not. So I'm interested to see what his motivations are, if he just sees humanity as weak and that's the only reason that he's attacking him, if he actually has good motivations. Hopefully that will be explored a bit more in the movie. They may keep it a bit of a mystery in these trailers. But I'm excited to see him. He looks... It kind of reminds me of those Star Trek villains. You know, the makeup is really well done, and yeah, it looks interesting. So, really good setup, I think. A lot better than the first trailer for sure. Um, and I think this will probably bring back some of the people that were saying this isn't going to be a Star Trek movie. I think this trailer sort of brings them back and says, okay, so maybe it is. Maybe the first trailer was just poorly marketed. Um, so I think that was part of the reason why this one was a bit more down to earth, a bit more dramatic and serious in its tone, to sort of say, okay, guys, we're not going to go completely 100% action, just a fun romp. It's actually going to have some good Star Trek moments. So, those are my thoughts on this trailer. Let me know what you thought of it down below. If there's anything that I missed in the trailer that you want to discuss, let me know. We can talk about it. And as always, leave a like and subscribe for future trailer reviews. I will see you at the next one. Peace out.